Hello and salut everybody. So guys, you know how sometimes you end up someplace or you go someplace you're like, that was waste of time. And then sometimes you go somewhere you're like, this was worth my time. Well, I was somewhere that was worth my time and I have to share it with you. I'm not going to say too much about this because I want to invite the founders to the show so that they can give you and tell you what this means and why and all of that. So I'm not going to go into it, but it is if I were XYZ, meaning if I was a president, if I was a president of Israel, if I was a president of Congo, if I was a president of the United States, or if I was in this position, if I was this person, how will I handle things? What would I do? That is, high level of what I think. If I were XYZ, how will I bring peace? How will I bring love? How will I bring things together the way it should be? That's just my understanding, again, high level. But, it is where opinions matters. It's where, it is an organization that is created for people to come and have conversation about peace, about love. How do we have peace? Not just in America, not just in Africa, but in Asia, Africa, North America, South America, Europe, Australia, all the world. So annual convention, it was today, the 27th of 2025. So I was there. Like I said, I didn't get a chance to do it right there. I didn't get the chance to do this right there, but I want to do this and share it with you. The keynote speaker was the Council General of Israel. And I'm going to separate the keynote speech separately. I'm going to post them separately, but I want you to watch the whole thing. I want you to watch how, what had happened. So I just have the highlights for you. I don't have everything. One of the things I don't have in the video is the breaking of the kola. And there was a chief was there, Nigerian chief. You're going to meet him. He broke the kola. I lost that footage. But, that is one thing that I missed. But most of the highlights, I have it in this video for you. And the website and everything in the description for you so that you can familiar yourself. It was held in Lawrenceville, St. Lawrence Church. And I really just want you to watch this. I want you to stay tuned because I'm going to bring the founders, so that we can dive a little deeper into this. But until then, I want you to check out the videos. I'm going to break down some of the highlights, and post them separately as well. But watch what had happened. And it's a lot of learning, a lot of eye-opening things. So I want you to, again, stay tuned until I bring, the founders to dig deeper into this and discuss and have a full discussion. But until then, I want you to share the videos, subscribe to the channel if you have not subscribed, and also check out the rest of the videos. Stay safe and blessed, and I'll see you on the next one.
Just want to appreciate you guys for taking time to come out here. Without wasting your time, I want to introduce to you guys our MC, the one person who can sell your used car as a new car. So back to you. The one and only Pat. Thank you.
I hope I don't look like such a person. Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. I would like to welcome everybody to this wonderful occasion. And I would like to first of all thank our parish priest, Father Henry Latin, for allowing us to use this facility. Thank you, Father Henry, and thank you, St. Lawrence. I would like to welcome all the members of different communities here. Welcome to this wonderful peace concert and conversation, of course, presented by ifiwerexyz. We have our panelists here, and we're also privileged to have the Consul General of Israel in our midst tonight. As she makes her way in, I would like everybody to give a rousing round of applause. If you may have her seated at the diplomat's desk, that would be fantastic. Again, we welcome you. I haven't seen it yet, but I'm sure you do. Dr. Melina A. Harris Barrow. Want to welcome you. Thank you, Mr. DJ.
Good evening. The people of the United States, particularly as gathered here today at the Causeway Hall, St. Lawrence Catholic Church in Lawrenceville, Georgia. Our distinguished panelists, my Lord, spiritual and temporal. Ladies and gentlemen, it is an honor to welcome you to this, our annual peace concert and conversation about a more perfect union, as enshrined in the Constitution of the United States, invoking us to form a more perfect union is calling us to unity. Let us seek peace and pursue it. As we all know, when there is no peace, there is no progress. In search of peace, our conversations last year centered on the importance of the 3 C's and 1 F required for peace, namely communication, commitment, compromise, and of course feedback. Guided by these principles, we form partnerships that will foster our efforts and embolden us to seek greater heights in our pursuit for peace. Accordingly, we have reached out to segments of our society that exemplify these core principles of peace. That is how we reached out to you. It is our hope that today's conversation will deepen our appreciation of the peace within us, the peace among us. That way, we will have laid a solid foundation for peace in our communities. We have chosen to use the founding documents of this great nation, the Declaration of Independence and the Constitution, as our guiding light. So let us recognize that these documents have done an excellent job of laying a solid foundation for American exceptionalism. After nearly 250 years of independence, we are awake. Do we still understand that all men are created equal and endowed by their Creator with certain inalienable rights, among which is life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness? Do we still know that the reason we established peace, strive for just domestic tranquility, provide for common defense, promote the general welfare, is not just to secure the blessings of liberty upon ourselves and our posterity, but also to seek a more perfect union among us. As though we are spreading the word about the peace concept and conversation this year, we have been confronted with some daunting questions, prominent among which is, how can we succeed in world peace in a world that has been engulfed in conflict since the beginning of time? Christians even make it worse for us when they remind us that the Prince of Peace himself was crucified. That whatever your religious belief or political persuasion, doing nothing is not an option. Moreover, the world did not begin with internet. However, today, internet has bridged the great divide across the world because someone asked the question, if I were you, what would I do differently to make the world a better place? This is the same question we want all of us to ask ourselves every day. Our honest answers will set in motion a mechanism for us to continuously improve ourselves and our society. To help us all in this regard, we have developed an app called ifiwerexyz. This app is your digital platform and partner for peace, conflict resolution, and of course, quality of life improvements. Our 24/7 access to our community conversations centered around peace, conflict resolution, and quality of life improvement provides you with continuous and consistent effort to transform your opinions and desires into reality. For this year, we will broaden our partnerships and collaboration with peace-loving organizations and individuals to seek peace from the grassroots. We will also seek to gain access to the United Nations with a view to working with internally displaced people in war-torn zones and conflict areas. This is where we need you. Help us to provide prosthetics to amputees, sanitary towels for girls or girl childs, and small agro-processing efforts in your continent. Through these efforts, we talk to and steer these, your direct mentors, their families and friends to peace. For today, we are gathered here to seek internal peace that will give rise to peace in our communities. Our panelists will guide us in their thought-provoking approach to our conversations today. It is our hope that we will all leave here today with these two guiding paradigms of, if I were XYZ, what would I do differently to change my environment? And the three sets on one end that we talked about earlier. In so doing, we the people of the United States can pride ourselves to be making a constant and consistent effort at forming a more perfect union among us, both here and elsewhere. Let us leave this event today determined to walk the walk and talk the talk as peace messengers. With peace in our hearts, let us fly from place to place, spreading our wings to be the peace we desire, the peace we deserve. Gathered here under the banner of peace and unity, we invite each of you to commit to one action over the next 30 days that brings us towards a more perfect union. There is a serious tension between the ideal of a perfect unity and the realities of injustice that exist here and globally. Reality: over 9 million children in the US experience food insecurity each year. Contradiction: in the wealthiest country on the globe, this hunger still exists in rural communities and inner cities. Reality: U.S. has one of the highest maternal mortality rates in the world among wealthy nations. Georgia is near the top of that list. The high death rates are highest among blacks and Native American women. Contradiction is, we always think that money is no issue. It is the distribution of wealth and access to care. Worldwide, an estimated 57.7 million people were living with limbs amputations in 2017, primarily due to traumatic causes. That population is 2.1 million in the United States. Globally, around 500 million women and girls lack adequate access to menstrual products and facilities needed for menstrual hygiene management. This statistics is mind-boggling for a world that knows that the health of a community is directly tied to the health of the women in that community. Approximately 2 billion people, or just over 25% of the world population, are involved in subsistence farming. Cottage food processing startups who greatly improve the quality of life of this population. Your $100 a day will go a long way into changing the quality of life of this population, revealed by the above statistics. It will provide a fertile ground for community dialogues with the potential for conflict resolution and peace. We work with our resident partners to make sure that every of your contributions have the greatest impact. We also provide you with direct access to communities benefiting from your benevolence. You have taken the first step. You are here now. Now, what will you do? What shall we do? What can we do together? Thank you for your support. Let us remember that no justice, no peace. Let me conclude with a paraphrase of the words of a great civil rights leader, Dr. Martin Luther King. If for any reason you cannot fly, run. If you cannot run, walk. If you cannot walk, please crawl. But whatever you do, please keep moving forward towards peace, towards a more perfect union. Make that decision to do something for peace today. As you do this, may God continue to bless you. May God bless the United States of America. Thank you so much for your time.
Introduce to you. Introduce to you our keynote speaker, the Consul General Sultan Dedon. She joined the Israeli Diplomatic Corps in 2004, that's a long time, and has held various positions at the embassies of Israel, in Cameroon, and I know that we have a lot of Cameroonians here. Make some noise. Yes. In Germany, the Netherlands, and Australia. At the Ministry of Foreign Affairs in Jerusalem, Sultan Dedon has held positions in the Euro-Asia and the Asia-Pacific divisions. Sultan Dedon earned a BA in Psychology and Education from the Hebrew University of Jerusalem in 1999, and an MA in Criminology with high honors from the same institution. In 2020, Sultan Dedon was honored by Morehouse College with induction into the Martin Luther King Jr. International College of Ministers and Laity. In her current role in Atlanta, Sultan Dedon is responsible for advancing all aspects of the bilateral relations between Israel and the 7 states covered by the Consulate General of Israel to the southeast: Alabama, Georgia, Kentucky, Mississippi, North Carolina, South Carolina, and Tennessee. And Assaulted daughter is married to Yaron, and they are the proud parents of 3 girls. Ladies and gentlemen, it's my pleasure to introduce our keynote speaker today, Ernest.
Thank you to my dear friend Cornelius Ani for inviting me to be part of this important evening, one dedicated to the pursuit of peace and mutual understanding through the vision of a more perfect union both within and among nations. I join you as a representative of Israel, a country often in the headlines, though seldom fully understood. My country and people have a long history, filled with difficulties and challenges, but also characterized by perseverance against all odds and unwavering hope. That hope continues to guide us even during one of the most difficult chapters in our nation's modern history. For over 18 months now, Israel has been engaged in a war not of our choosing. Our choice as a nation and as a people has always been the choice of peace. But when faced with enemies who seek our destruction, we must fight to defend ourselves, as is the right and duty of any sovereign nation. The October 7th terror attack on Israel, in which 1,200 innocent men, women, and children were massacred, was not only an attack on Israel, it was an attack on humanity, on peace, and on the belief that we can live alongside one another in mutual respect. Israel has since been at war against enemies on different fronts who all share a radical Islamist ideology which seeks the destruction of Israel and, far beyond us, of the entire free world. Combating this extremism is not only Israel's imperative, it is a shared responsibility for all who stand for humanity and the future of peace. But even while we are at war, and even more so because we are at war, and face the horrible reality and the tragedy that it brings to so many, we remain committed to the pursuit of peace. This commitment is not abstract. It is practiced daily in what we teach our children. We know that ultimately peace is the only way forward if we seek a better future for all of our children. Israeli children, Palestinian children, all children. In 1948, the Jewish millennia-old dream of regaining sovereignty in our ancient homeland became a reality with the establishment of the modern state of Israel. We were finally able to regain control of our destiny in the Jewish people's ancestral homeland after millennia of exile and persecution. While our people regathered from all corners of the earth to take part in rebuilding our nation in our indigenous homeland, we were also mindful of the fact that Israel, among the family of nations, had responsibilities far beyond our borders. In 1958, Israel's Foreign Minister Golda Meir visited Africa. Deeply moved by the challenges that the young nations were facing after achieving independence, she returned convinced that Israel must play a significant role in assisting these nations in their struggle with challenges of health, education, malnutrition, and resources. Israel was only 10 years old, still busy with developing and strengthening its own state, facing so many challenges on so many fronts, and yet it recognized a need elsewhere that it could assist with and saw the moral duty to act. Here in America, our own narrative as a people made many Jews relate to the African American struggle for civil rights. A famous example is the image of Rabbi Abraham Joshua Heschel marching alongside Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. following Dr. King's call for religious leaders to join the Selma to Montgomery March. This beautiful image demonstrated a genuine friendship and a necessary allyship. But it is important to remember that this captured moment is just one of countless others before, during, and after the Civil Rights Movement, rooted in our shared experience of the most basic human right that was denied our peoples and that we respectively fought for: freedom and the ability to live and raise our children in peace. Similarly, the Jewish people's struggles resonated with Dr. King, who stated in relation to the Jewish people in the state of Israel that the whole world must see that Israel must exist and has the right to exist. This because for millennia, our mere existence was threatened. While we remember the Holocaust and the fierce Jew hatred that brought about such great destruction to the Jewish people, the unfathomable murder of 6 million Jews, anti-Semitism is sadly not confined to the past. There are those who still today continue to call for the destruction of the state of Israel and the Jewish people. There is a dangerous common thread that ties the Holocaust, the October 7th massacre, the murder of Israeli embassy team members Sarah Milgram and Yoram Lushinsky in D.C. last month, and the horrific anti-Semitic attack in Colorado against innocent people who peacefully marched to raise awareness to the plight of the remaining hostages in Gaza. This age-old hatred, anti-Semitism in its many forms, must be addressed if peace is ever to be fully realized. Since our independence in 1948, Israel has been committed to pursuing peace, grounded in our Jewish values, as highlighted in the biblical commandment in Psalms 34:14, "Depart from evil and do good. Seek peace and pursue it." Our Declaration of Independence states clearly that our hand is extended in peace to all our neighbors. Whenever we faced a leader courageous enough to normalize relations with Israel, peace has become a reality for the benefit of our respective countries and peoples. Despite decades of conflict and wars in which we faced enemies who sought our destruction, our commitment to peace has never wavered. In 1979, then Egyptian President Anwar Sadat made the courageous decision, bravely standing alone in front of the entire Arab world, determined that peace with Israel is in the best interest of Egypt and its people. In 1994, King Hussein of Jordan made a similar decision, and peace became a reality once again. More recently, in 2020, the signing of the monumental Abraham Accords by Israel, the United Arab Emirates, Bahrain, and Morocco have transformed the landscape of our region. These peace agreements are examples of what can be achieved through dialogue, courageous leadership, and diplomacy. They were not only signed by leaders, it is our peoples who have breathed life into them, often young people who have built and continue to build relationships, partnerships, and trust across divides. In 1994, Israeli Prime Minister Yitzhak Rabin paid the ultimate price for his commitment to peace. Addressing Israeli youth shortly before he was assassinated, Rabin said the following, in loose translation from Hebrew: "Do not accept existing conventions, not in society, not in other areas. A society, a country, any organ that does not know how to change is an organ that has degenerated. And if there is something that should distinguish youth, it is rebelliousness against existing conventions. I expect from you, the youth, to address the needs of the hour. I wish and believe that you can fulfill your capacity to effect change, and together, young and old, we will march towards peace, security, progress, and success." I would like to end by wishing all of us an active commitment to the biblical commandment to seek peace and pursue it, so that together we can bequeath to our children a more perfect union, a world that reflects the values that we all hold dear. Thank you.
Ladies and gentlemen, as you're standing, we would like to quickly do an award. And after that, we're going to go into the other awards. I want to publicly assure my parish priest, Father Henry, that we started this function with praise by Deacon. So, ladies and gentlemen, you've heard what the ambassador said. I was struck when she talked about peace through dialogue, through courageous leadership, and also diplomacy, which is what this organization is talking about and making sure that it goes worldwide. If I were XYZ, if I were you, what would you do? If you were the president of your country, what would you do to inspire peace, to bring about peace? And once you go to our website and start that conversation, you'll find out that a lot of other participants will join you. And at the end of it, you'll see that the solution is right in our face. Dialogue, courageous leadership, and diplomacy brings peace. At this point in time, ladies and gentlemen, I ask Engineer Cornelius to gather around to bring the dignitaries gather around the Consul General for a picture. And before then, please, Cornelius, I invite you to give the award to the Consul. Engineer Cornelius, please.
Thank you so much. You remember about him? So when he said this engineer, I'm like, what are you talking about? Is it me or somebody else? I'm just ordinary Joseph's past. So I'm Cornelius. So, well, we have invited you guys here today for a purpose. To start a conversation. Those who are getting this award today are getting the award because of their consistency. And because they stood out among so many other people that were presented to us to get this award. This award actually is a recognition of what has happened in the past that unfortunately is also calling them to continue to even do more. I hate to do this to you, but we're giving you this award because we know that you are a global ambassador. You are a global messenger of peace. And without wasting your time, I will it is my honor. This reads, with our greatest appreciation, we hereby present Anat Sultan Badan, Global Messenger of Peace, for your unwavering commitment to and support for peace and progress among us. Thank you so much.
Thank you, everyone.
and I'm sorry that I'm rushing. It's just the eve of Shabbat, and so trying to make my way in time. Thank you.
Hello.
Hello.
I would like to have the copy of what you are taking. Did you take me when I was stopping the cola?
No, I didn't get that. No, I didn't get it. No.
Hello, how are you?
How are you?
Chief Ifiwerexyz.
I wish it is good evening, everybody. Good evening. When Baba was trying to bring me here, I was wondering, why do they have all these things? They call me pastor. Do I look like a pastor? Okay, I greet all of you, and I'm about to present an award. And my mentor used to tell me that the only thing you do for a good job is more job. And once you are given an award, more is expected from you. And in presenting this award, I'd like to call on Dr. Cornelius. Engineer Cornelius, please come on here, help me out. In Atlanta, in the Southeast America, in Nigerian community. Chief Pat Obala is a Nigerian American residing in Loganville, Georgia. Alongside his family, he is married to Dr. Obiano Obala and are both proud parents of 3 children, Brian, Brenda, and Nicole. You can call it BDM. He is proud to be a 4th-degree member of the Knights of Columbus. So he is not only children, he's a son. In fact, I know him as someone that if he enters the political circle, he is honorable. If he enters the church, he's a son. If he comes to the meeting of DMC, he's a chief. Let me just stop there. Yeah. During the decades of long development planning, the college had the planning for the Catholic Others of Atlanta. He represented the committee chaired by Cardinal Wilton Daniel Gregory. Committed to promoting world peace, Chief Pat Obala is actively involved with the ifiwerexyz organization, where he has recently been appointed Chief Executive Officer. Gentlemen and ladies, presenting to you our International Messenger of Peace, Chief Pat Obala, also known as Egbugulok. Please come up here now. Congratulations, sir.
Thank you, sir.
Let's present this to you. Please clap for him. The Arenes are from Ghana, but married to the United States in 1999. Migrated to the United States in 1999. There you go. Okay now. For over 10 years, they lived in New York before relocating to Atlanta. Whenever they find themselves, they find a way to make a difference in the community. Currently, Francisca is the president of a women group called Christian Mothers and Fathers Association of Atlanta. This association is a non-profit organization dedicated to helping women to promote the spiritual, moral, and socio-economic advancement of women, thereby helping them to be fully integrated into society and battling their standard wherever they are bettering their standard, wherever they may be. She's also a member of the Ghanaian Catholic community. The couple have perfected the art of living a very modest lifestyle with love and devotion to the sense of God. My dear brothers and sisters, permit me to bring up to the podium Mr. and Mrs. Thomas and Francisca. And remember, whenever you're given an award, more is expected. When you do thank you for a good job is more job. So let's come to the front of the podium.
got it. Okay. Yes.
Yeah, can you just give me a minute? Don't go yet. Okay, camera, please get this.
We're good. You guys can.
You got it? Good. Awesome. Thank you.
Okay, you guys got it.
For me, without them, we wouldn't be here. These are the people who made it possible for us to have African Community of St. Lawrence here in Lawrenceville. These people and Maureen Ash, they started it all. The only thing is, they were much smarter than me. You know, they started the fire and they asked me to come to, douse it all. That's why you guys see me. That these are the people who made it possible for us to have African Community of St. Lawrence. So please give it up for them. And prove them. The very first chasuble that has African design. If you go in that father's dressing room, that chasuble came from that unit. So thank you for what you do. Like they said, continue to do what you do. We appreciate you. Thank you guys. And with that, you can sit down. I'll give the microphone to
Especially all the members of the African Community of St. Lawrence. Thank you. Thank you, our guests. Thank you, the clergy, for the support. I just want to say that if you have not understood what ifiwerexyz means, just go to the website, ifiwerexyz.com. You see that you start a conversation that may lead to peaceful coexistence, not just in the family, in the community, in the state, also in the country. Just go there. That's what this organization is all about, promotion of peace worldwide. And because they do such a good job, and because I'm an insider, I know how much they put in their own personal money to do what they do. Well, I'm the CEO, so I should be saying to do what we do.
exactly.
So in that respect, my family will support their programs with their $500.
Wow. Look, that's the second microphone. We really appreciate it. Thank you.
Yeah, the education fund, in America, we said women control. In Africa, I will be the boss. So when I was breaking the cola, Ukraine said the man has to break it. But here, I have to give the mic to the woman.
All right. Rule reversal.
So, on behalf of my husband and myself, we want to say a big thank you to ifiwerexyz for the honor done us tonight. We don't have much to say, but we say we support every move that you make. Whenever you reach out to us, we will do our best to support you as possible. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much. Thank you.
Engineer Cornelius, thank you for that award. I think it means a lot to us. I'm not used to getting awards. This means a lot to my family and myself. And I hope the same goes for the UNA family. If you're receiving an award tonight, ladies and gentlemen, just know you that the decision was not made by a few individuals. The decision was made by a committee and also members of their community, because we reach out to ask a few questions to make sure that you or your family is deserving of the award. And once you get an award, please know that you are an ambassador of peace or a messenger of peace. Remember, if ifiwerexyz means, just think about it. If you're talking to your son and he suddenly says, if I were dead, what would I do to solve the issue of coming home late? And they start the conversation, and everybody chimes in, and he gives the answer, or the answer is given by other participants. Don't you see that you have solved the problem and you have initiated peace in the family? If we can do that in every opportunity, I think peace will not be far off. If we can do that in the church, if we can do that anywhere that you are, and you see a problem, and all of a sudden that question brings about discussion of what you will do to bring peace. The first recipient from our panelists is Dr. Melida A. Harris Barrow, born in the Republic of Panama. Dr. Melida Harris Barrow is a visionary leader committed to empowering nations, individuals, and businesses through trade and economic development. She mobilizes global investors to support overlooked industries, sparking new economic opportunities and advancing future leaders, mentoring youth ambassadors worldwide to foster global leadership among young people. In 2022, she launched the transformative Journey of Reconciliation of Mother Africa and her Diaspora, a global initiative designed to unite the African diaspora, Africa, and indigenous peoples worldwide. The project fosters healing and sparks a renewed sense of connection among African people, promoting resilience and empowerment throughout the global community. It's my pleasure, ladies and gentlemen, to invite them to come and set this wonderful award, International Messenger of Peace. Where's my photographer? Okay. So Nabajo, Dr. Babatunde as his colleague, well, call him Babs, actually his real name is Babatunde. Olusegun, not Ambassador, Nabajo. He's the president of the Faculty Senate and a professor of business and computer science at Atlanta Metropolitan State College, Atlanta. He has served in various positions with the institution since 1982. He has also served as an assistant professor and director of computer science from 1983 to 1984 at Morris Brown College. Dr. Nabanjo served Alabama State University as an instructor of management and information systems from 1979 to 1981. Dr. Nabaja has over 40 years of consulting experience in management, computer science, education, project management, financial services, entrepreneurship, and leadership development. Ladies and gentlemen, please help me welcome for this wonderful day, Dr. Bob. Thank you, guys. Mr. and Mrs. John Redderman. Yes. Ladies and gentlemen, for 23 years, John and Mary Redderman have been a pillar of love and support for babies, children, and families through open door adoption. Married for 47 years of the marriage. They have opened their hearts and homes to 150 plus babies brought with love. 3 toddlers nurtured. 1 non-verbal autistic child cared for. 35 families hosted while awaiting ICPC clearance. Their passion for helping children comes from a deeply personal place. After losing 3 children of their 7 children to mitochondrial disease, and with 2 still facing health challenges, John and Mary felt a calling to give back. And they have done so in the most beautiful way. In addition, they are also involved in donating life-saving blood and platelets to the Red Cross. Over the years, the Reddermans donated 309 platelet units and 38 gallons of blood. Ladies and gentlemen, please help me welcome the Reddermans for International Messengers of Peace. The next is a good friend of mine. I've known him for so many years. But you know, you see better from outside of the football field. Once if you're in there, you won't see all the nitty-gritties in there. So it's my pleasure, ladies and gentlemen, to invite this wonderful man, very unassuming, yet very accomplished. Chief Romy is the Omoka, the man that broke the colonel for us tonight. And there is a reason why he did it. Chief Romy is the Omoka was the first Igbo man to travel to Taiwan in 1976. Yes, when he copied Japanese motorcycle spare parts from Taiwan and brought it home, which opened a big market and created big fortune for Nnewi spare parts dealers. He has traveled to 85% of the world's major cities and as a result mastered what makes every developed country great. Number 1, 100% uninterrupted power supply. That's what makes an economy move. Industrialization and export. Yes, tourism and sports development. Education of skill acquisition. People's love for their country and zero corruption. None of those developed countries fronts religion as dear. Presenting Oblisi, the man that is as Catholic as ever, but believes in the laws of nation. Yes, and also in the laws of God. Love your neighbor as yourself. It's my pleasure, ladies and gentlemen, to invite you for our international messenger of peace. Ladies and gentlemen, Chief Romy is our own guy.
Yeah. I want to appreciate you guys for what you do. Like the first presenter said, this thank you is a thank you, but it's more like, can you do more? We know you've done a lot, but can you do more for what you're doing? These are ordinary people doing ordinary things. Everything. Their consistency, their dedication have taught the life of ordinary people extraordinarily. Just like you, just like every single one of us here. And all we're saying, can we continue to do this such that the peace inside us can shine towards the next person, there will be peace among us, peace within us, peace in our communities. That is how we're going to quieten the guns. That is how we're going to stop whatever is going on, whether it is in DRC or in Gaza. We're going to be talking to our panelists, asking them questions about what do we need to do. If they were in a position, what would they do differently to give us peace here on earth? Of course, the reason I'm not sitting here is because I am neither a doctor nor has traveled. Well, what I didn't tell you, I mean, John's bio was too long. Like, so long. I mean, it's like a thesis. He has, is that 29 patents or 50? 29. Okay. So you can see there's no way I'm going to be sitting here because I know next to nothing. That is why let us ask them the questions. They know it all. What do we need to do to form a more perfect union? What do we need to do to have peace among us? Anybody, any question? We have just, anybody have any questions for them? And they will take it from there. Or do you guys want to talk to us about a more perfect union? So I'll leave this mic over here for you guys. And then there's another mic over there telling you guys, asking you guys questions. With that, I yield the floor for the high table.
Hello. My name is Marita Harris Barrow. I'm from Panama. I want to mention, well, first of what Cornelius just said, I don't like it. Did he leave? He left. That's good. I can talk about it now. You see, you don't have to have a doctor degree. You don't have to have anything. You have to know who you are. It's just that simple. Peace is knowing who you are. Peace is loving yourself. Therefore, you will love others. You don't need a doctorate degree for that. You don't need no degree when it comes to peace. Because God has given us peace. You see, we just don't do it. Because sometimes of greed, sometimes of many other things. I've always wanted peace in my life. And also, by knowing who you are, you have to know the truth in this world. Most of this world is an illusion, and we don't know. As I was speaking to my colleagues, you see, knowledge is important. If you don't have the knowledge, how are we going to have peace? If we don't have the wisdom, and that's the thing that we fail. We talk about peace, but somehow we don't love each other because we don't love ourselves. So if you don't love yourself, you're going to have war. You see, there's always going to be war because there's evil also. We can't just talk about God. You have to also talk about evil, the people that are evil. Sometimes they don't even know they're evil. They just go on about their business. They don't know that they're being controlled by evil. Look at what's happening in the world today. There's a lot of evilness going on. And we don't recognize it. So, the things that I do when it comes to peace, I know who I am now. I didn't before. Because in my country, I didn't know anything about Africa. They kept it away from us. We were told that we could wear our hair naturally in our country. We had to press our hair. I was told that growing up, if you would misbehave, we're going to send you back to Africa. But I still didn't know what was Africa. But I know it was bad. You know why? That's what they taught me. So if I had continued to believe that, I wouldn't be here today. So peace is about knowing who you are. So therefore, you will treat others the same with love. If you don't have love, then you're going to have war. If you don't have love, then you are going to have COVID and all of the different diseases that are killing us today, even the food, even the water. Look at our children. They're growing up without sympathy. They just on that Nintendo. We could be falling out. Ma, are you okay? Okay. And they went back to the Nintendo. You see? Peace is key to our survival. If we don't have it, then we are going to perish. Maybe not you, but your children and grandchildren. So we have to focus today on peace. And it starts with you. Thank you.
Tonight. Is anybody here from Congo or Rwanda? You are? I don't know if you've heard, but they signed a peace treaty today. So to hold this conference on peace on that day is huge news. And congratulations to both countries after decades of endless slaughter. So I want to congratulate those countries. Talking about peace. I've been married for 48 years. She said, you don't have to answer to anybody. Yes, I do. Yes, I do. But that's a different issue. How do we, people ask us, why do we do what we do? You know, we're about to get our 100, they said 150 babies. We're about to get our 168th baby sometime later this week, I think. The baby was just born in Fayetteville. But why do we do that? Well, there's in my mind, there's 4 reasons, all dealing with trying to get more peace in the world. First of all, why do we do it? Because my wife loves babies. The rest is just gravy on top of that. But the fact that we would do that regardless. Second of all, as he mentioned, we lost 3 children to a rare disease. And if we can save any children from the ravages of abortion, so that they can have a life with a family who's desperate to have children, it gives us great satisfaction and peace. Third, and this may not be popular in this group, but I personally believe that if you're going to be a conservative, and I consider myself a conservative, that you should not rely on the government to do anything that you're not willing to do. We take those babies because we've seen what babies that go through defects, how they end up. It's not a good thing. So if you're not willing to do it yourself, if you don't want the government to do it, you've got to step forward and step up, whether it's in something like this, or helping the homeless, or anything else. And finally, and I probably should have said it first, the 4th reason is because Scripture tells us to take care of the widows and orphans. And these children are orphans looking for a home. And the Scriptures, both the Old Jewish Scripture and the New Testament, tell us to take care of the widows and orphans. And that's why we do what we do. Any questions?
Yes, very shortly there will be lots of questions. If you want, we can start now to give you questions.
I heard what everybody is saying. Everybody is saying peace. Peace. Yeah. But in this life is existing on laws. There is a law you must observe before peace can come. In our vernacular language, we call it ifiwerexyz. That is love. The love is ifiwerexyz language. Then peace is udo. There is a song we used to sing in our childhood. Udo, udo gadi, ebe ifiwerexyz, eba udo gadi. That there will be peace, but it is where love exists. That's love. And this love was exhibited by Jesus Christ, where everything was done to him. But at the end of the day, he asked for water, and they gave him vinegar. No man can sustain this. But out of love, you say, Father, forgive them. They don't know what they're doing. Forgiveness. If you don't apply forgiveness, you must continue varying and hating your neighbor. And we were told that love your neighbor as you love yourself. Sometimes you must ask question, does everybody love himself? There's certain thing your body system doesn't want, but out of desire it continue to eat, and it's hurting you. Therefore, you can have, if you're exhibiting that type of inconsistency in you to your neighbor, don't you see it's not true love. Therefore, love, peace can come where there is love. And love has to go with forgiveness. And I am telling the world, please, fix Africa. Fix, I'm telling you all this, the developed world. Africa has been to all along on developing. But now some are going undeveloped. But Africa will be fixed because we are, in Africa culture, we are very, very happy people. In Africa, we don't even have boundaries. We love ourselves. Only that there's something called divide and rule, which was brought to us by the colonial masters. So divide and rule. And now our continent is being, there's a lot of banditry, sponsoring banditry because of this and that. We are killing ourselves. Where is that Lord? How can peace come? You know, to me, if Africa is fixed today, there will be peace in the entire world. Because I'm the person that you an Olympic stadium where soccer used to be played. People love soccer. The soccer in our place, anytime the soccer play brings all together, sports, bring the whole world. That's what I mentioned in my 5 things I mentioned in my presentation, which I have gathered this experience in traveling most of the world. Sports and tourism unites the world. School of skill acquisition, not going to cram something. You must have skill acquisition in whatever you're doing, so that you can primarily know what you're doing. Skill acquisition. You see, with skill acquisition, with tourism and sports, with uninterrupted electricity, up to today in Africa, we don't have all this. We still have darkness in many places. So, I am saying, there will be peace for the unity of the world, but for that peace to be achieved, there must be love. And love to exist, there must be forgiveness. That's my point. Thank you very much.
Of this conversation.
I think the panel has done an exceptional job with the topic, but I'm going to add a little bit to it. 1 Corinthians chapter 13, verse 13 says there are 3 virtues: faith, hope, and love. And the greatest of these is love. First of all, when you talk about faith, faith is the substance of things hoped for and the evidence of things not seen. You feel the wind, but you can't see. That is the might of God. So for those of you who do not believe, you just have to look around you. Nature is there for you to prove that it's God. Second is hope. Hope is always something you look forward to. A positive expectation of the future, which is usually, that's what we'll hang up on. If you don't have hope, you've lost everything. And the last is love. Love is unconditional. I can take love. Love without any condition. Love your neighbor as yourself. That is the first commandment. So peace starts with me, starts with your family, starts with your neighbor, and so it goes around the world. So without love, there's no peace. And everybody said it eloquently. So let us do our own part and make sure that we love our neighbor and we love ourselves. Thank you.
Okay. Thank you all members of the panel. We surely appreciate your insights. Ladies and gentlemen, it's now time for questions, and we're going to make it very quick because as soon as Father Henry comes in here, he's going to be blessing all the recipients of awards, and we'll then be going to slide into the different items in our program. I see a hand up, but before then, I want to really first ask this question. All members of the panel, if you look at the family of America, especially in the black community. You see that there is a disintegration of the family unit. What will we do? What will you advise for the African American, the black family in the United States to come together? As we know, the family unit, a man being the head of the family, of course the parents, the man and the wife, the children being children in the house, respectful of the parents, and making that family unit work. Because if the family unit works, trust me, the community will work. If the community works, the state will work. If the states work, the country will work. There will be peace everywhere. So what is your advice for the family unit, especially in the African American, the black family? What is your advice to have peace in that family unit? Is coming up from here.
Can I say something about that? Yes. Family is very important, and it starts from home, and the relationships are built among siblings, fathers and mothers. They must show examples, and they must lay the foundation for development of their children. Children are not your friends. You have an obligation to nurture them. You don't give them the freedom to do whatever they want or shape the character they want to become. You have been endowed by God to train them well. So, but that's what is lacking mostly in some of our families. We let our children dictate to us what they want to be, rather than us giving them the foundation and then let them build themselves. Train the child and it will grow old to become somebody. But when you don't, or spare the rod, as they say in Africa, you know, I don't believe in spanking a child, but sometimes you discipline them in a way that is very, you know, appropriate. Let's put it that way, okay? But again, it has to start from home. If you don't have discipline, in fact, even in school, you cannot learn without discipline. A child without discipline cannot learn, period. So, but the parents have to set the tone at home so that when he gets out there, he knows that he has some expectation. So that's what we need to start from. And again, I believe that your faith also is very important. You've got to, you've got to train the children the way that you like to be, the way that you were trained in a way. Number one, for example, I was brought up in a Christian family, right? I dare not tell my parents at that time I'm not going to go to church. I didn't have a choice. I had to go. That was the way I was trained. Doesn't mean it's right or wrong, but you had a leader, and you've got to set a good example.
I have something to say that's very, very important that we really need to address. When I was young, I didn't know anything about myself. In Panama, I grew up under a dictatorship. I was there not to say anything to any government or anything like that. And it was rough. The problem in this world is racism. The problem in this world is the fact that we, people of African descent, especially those of us that live in the Caribbean, live in Latin America, and around the world, we were taught, and I want to get straight into this because this is not bringing peace. It's bringing chaos in the world. The fact that I was taught to be inferior, to believe that I was inferior. But I thank God to my grandmother. She was born in Colombia. And my grandmother always called me a queen when I was born. So I did not believe in inferiority based on color. If I look at her and I look at you, you're the same people. Has nothing to do with color. That was created. But if I teach her that she is superior than me from a child, that's how she's going to grow up. Until sometimes she discovered, you know what, this doesn't make any sense either. But there's a majority in the world that believes that. Are you guys following what I'm saying? So if you believe that you are inferior based on a color, there's something wrong with us. Not those that are teaching us, but there's something wrong with this. And why is something wrong with our mindset? Because it's the mindset. We were taught that. You see? And if I believe she's superior to me, then I will be inferior. And if she believes it also, because she's in a different world than I am, I don't have to hide. You don't have to hide and duck and worry about police passing you. We do it. Think it every day. What I'm saying is, we have to get rid of that in order for us to have peace. But it's very difficult for us from slavery. We've been running. We've been hiding. We have been believing something that is an illusion. And if you believe an illusion, you don't know who you are on both sides. You see? So what I'm saying is, if you really believe it, there will be no peace. None of it. When I read the history of DRC, it hurts me. That's why I do what I do. I travel to Africa, Latin America, the Caribbean, India. And it's the same problem. When we see a white person, this happened to me in the Bahamas. I was doing a class with the youth and I walked in and they were all Africans from the Americas. And that problem, when I walked in, none of the young people stood up. They were still talking, ignoring me. And I'm like, I understand what this is. It's not their fault. It's the system. So I came in and I sat down next to them. And they're looking at me now wondering, I thought she was coming to speak. And they're staring at me. And I said, you guys are looking at me while you're staring at me. And they said, well, we thought you were coming here to speak to us. And I said, I'm not going to speak to people that don't respect me as an African woman. That's number one. I am not going to stand up to speak because if that was a white woman, all of you would stand up. And I caught one crying. Young man, he was like 20 years old. And then they put their heads down. When you guys ready to respect me, let me know and I will stand up and speak to you. Teach you. And they all stood up and apologized to me. I said, oh, you're ready now. And I stood up and I spoke. It damaged us.
there will be no peace until we reconcile with each other. That's why I did the journey of reconciliation of Mother Africa in Panama. I invited the kings and queens, and they came to Panama and apologized to us because they also sold us. They sold us, so they apologized. My point is this: there's no way you cannot have a question for us based on our history. No way. Please.
If you may, please, there is an order of...
Let me just conclude now.
Yes, then the question...
My point is this: when you feel superior to others, it's temporary, because you're rising. The knowledge is here now. The wisdom is here now. And the understanding is here now. Because when you love yourself like I do, I will never allow anyone to do anything to me, disrespect me. We will never, women will never allow a man to beat her because of that power you have inside. God. Are you following me? The truth is important. Our history is important. Now we know it. Some of you don't, but most of us do now. And we are organized. What are we organizing? To respect ourselves. And that's why the attention in the world, because they know we are rising. And to be honest with you, you are already there. You're just not saying anything. And that's why in August, I'm going to Africa, in Nigeria, Abuja, to teach my children the whole Africa of who they are. Thank you very much.
And when we came in the 70s, we had a different orientation. We as Black Africans and the African Americans, we seem to be not understanding ourselves in those two communities. And over the years, and after I finished lecturing in one of the universities in California, I came to understand that it's not a personal issue, but a class issue. When you leave the continent of Africa to come to the United States or to any other Western country, you come out of that African country as a middle class person, somebody that has gone to school and finished his or her school in the university, has gained employment, has the wherewithal to seek for visa, to get your flight ticket, and not only that, to get some funds that can sustain you over time before you stabilize in a new country. Therefore, that person is not coming to that new world as a poor person, as somebody in the lower stratum of the society. That person is coming as a middle class. And most importantly, when they come, they live in the neighborhood that is not middle class. So you have two classes of societies clashing and not understanding themselves and not knowing where they are coming from, where the Africans are coming from, and also the indigenous people are coming from. If that can be explained and taught, and if they can learn themselves, they will see that there are certain things they need to compromise to live together in peace. But most times they misunderstand themselves. And it's not a question of I'm from Africa, and I'm from the United States, I'm from the United Kingdom. It's a question of classism. And once we can understand it, I think we will better be cooperating with one another. That's my observation, as a personal opinion. But at this point in time, ladies and gentlemen, I'm going to give this microphone.
Earlier about the meeting with DRC and Rwanda in the Oval today. My business partner and I, we do have an opportunity there. We've got 2 million acres over there, so we're very excited about what happened over there. But really what I wanted to say is, and ask the chief a question, if I may. I have been inspired by what I saw in the paper and heard from you, and I just wanted to know if you could share a little bit about what it was like when you went to Taiwan, saw that opportunity, and was inspired to take it back home. It inspired me just hearing that story about you, and I wanted to see if you might share a little bit about that inspiration and how you felt at that time. Thank you.
You know, somewhere like the Oriental countries are where things are made possible for a child to start learning from the parents. On that area, they are similar to Africa. Now, a child brought up in Africa or a child brought up in Asia, their upbringing is different from the child brought up in the Western world. Because in the Western world, those things the child learns to be doing from the childhood. When they try it here, they say it's child abuse. For example, I was nearly arrested in New Jersey in 1983, where my children were following me loading containers. The people that I'm training in this neighborhood, they call police for me. I said, so many places. My daughter said, hey, Dad, they're coming to. But I'll tell them that I'm the one that want to do the loading with my dad. Not me that forced him to do it. So my daughter is very, very sharp. When the police will come, he said, no, I'm the one that my dad told me not to load, but I'm the one that want to load it. That's how I was free. You see, in Taiwan is where everything is very, very easy. Now, the country I was Taiwan. And Taiwan is trying to be a sovereign country. The China refused it. So they enter into productivity. They got everything. And they believe in primary skill. That's why I mentioned it now. Skill acquisition. Every child knows how to do everything right from the childhood. In the factory, you see them working. But in the Western world, they say it's child abuse. So now, and it was not easy for us to learn anything from the Western world, but it was easy for us to learn from the Oriental world. In the Oriental world, they decode everything, recopy it. That's why I say I copied the Japanese papers in Taiwan. When an item was like $2 in Japan, I copied it at 30 cents in Taiwan. And the quality is similar. The price comes down. It's not like what we're doing now. If you can see the volume of commodities coming from China, if it goes further and further and further, and those tariff hike like this, everything is going to go high. If you import something from China, they will say how many containers, not what quantity. Because if you want 10 containers, they will produce it under 1 week. That's China for you. Everybody is highly productive from childhood. So it was easy for me to set up, and I believe in stealing technology. You steal technology instead of the owners of it copying to you. We say, come on, nobody will decode what help him to you. You can steal it. Like the Japanese steal technology from Europe. Then Taiwan steal technology from Japan. Then I steal technology from Taiwan. That's the same thing. And not only this, I established a lot of industries. And what inspired me most is that by the time I was traveling everywhere, I discovered that tourism and sports is even the only thing that can unite the whole world. That's why I established Olympic Stadium by myself. And by the time our team was playing African League, the Egyptians came to play a club in my hometown. And everybody was waiting for the soccer to go. But I was talking to the players from Egypt and said, is Egypt in the Bible? I said, when there is two Egypt, one in my country that came to play in my stadium. But these Egyptians were from Egypt. So I was enjoying that Egypt came to play match in my stadium. It was an honor. So, you see, it is very easy to allow the child, because children emulate their parents. That's why even if you want love to be in your home, parents have to show love to themselves so that children can copy it. That's why in our we say a child is copying either the mother or the father. So both parents must be loved so that the children can live in love.
Yes.
You love me? Or you want me to say no?
Influences a lot of political decisions in Anambra State. He didn't tell you that, but we know that.
Thank you for you guys told us that love is very important where it comes to peace. So my question is, since we know that love is the foundation for it, what role do you think that favoritism plays in wars, like why we don't have peace? So, for example, if we start like in the Bible, we see where there was favoritism with Joseph and his brothers. It caused a lot of problems. We see in households where there are polygamy, different wives, it causes a lot of problems. And so in countries, we notice that when there are wars, particular nations there have favorites. Everybody's doing favorites and say, we're going to support this nation against this nation. So my question is, how do we stop the favoritism and concentrate on love so that we can spread peace all over and we're not taking sides?
Thinking we're going to start love on a national level is way overreaching. I mean, love needs to start at the individual level. And I'm not speaking as somebody who views themselves as superior. You're my neighbors. I mean, of the 167 children we fostered, over 150 of them were African American children. How can we, as a community, do a better job there? Let me give you two examples. One is I volunteer for the Red Cross. blacks in America represent 13% of the population. The sickle cell patients are 97, 98% African American. Only 3% of black Americans donate blood. Now, my blood can help a black child with sickle cell, but the shape of the blood cells will bring pain to the child in their elbows, their wrists, their joints, because there's a racial compatibility of blood. I didn't know that until I got educated by the Red Cross. We just had a blood drive here at St. Lawrence, raised 49 pints of blood. The intent was, and Cornelia has talked quite a bit on this, was to really focus on the African American community to give more blood for the sickle cells. We ended up with 3 of the 49 units from the African American community. That's something that as a community, helping your neighbors, and again, I'm your neighbor, I'm willing to give you my blood, but it doesn't do much. I mean, the other one is on the fostering, putting children up for adoption. We're about to do we've done 167 foster children over 25 years. How many? 150 of them, plus or minus a few, were of African American descent. How many adopted parents were of African American descent? Anyone take a guess? One couple. One couple out of 150. There are people that are dying to have children, and we ship children all over the United States to parents who are just so thankful to have a child of any color. They just want a healthy child, and that's something that when you as a community want to ask yourself, how can we help our community? How can we show some love there? That's one of the issues that you should pray about. That we're too old to adopt. We tried to adopt one African American girl, but we were too old at the time, so they kicked us to the curb. So, but there's things that we as Americans, and I'm not talking African Americans, I'm not talking German or Irish Americans, I'm talking Americans. What we can do for each other is what we need to step forward and do, and anything that you can do again, so that the government doesn't have to do it. The government is not going to take care of little babies. They're not. They're terrible at everything they do except dropping the big one on Iran. I mean, that's pretty damn well. But we need to step up as Americans and do something to help our society, whether regardless of the color of the skin and frankly of the religion. Funny story. We're at a Catholic church, so I can tell this. When we first signed up, this was a Christian organization in deep South Georgia, down Thomasville, almost to the Florida border. And we applied to be a caring home. And they said, well, you're not eligible. We're a Christian organization. At which point I reminded them that the Catholics were the first Christians, so come on. And we've been good partners with them ever since. That's all I got.
Very good, we can go down the road. Sure.
Yeah. I just wanted to reflect on the question that Lady asked, and to put it in proper perspective. In the 60s, during the Civil Rights Movement, Dr. King fought 3 evils: racism, poverty, and militarism, which violence. Today, those 3 evils still exist. Racism found its foundation from misinformation and prejudice. So, information is powerful, knowledge is powerful. So, what I'm trying to say is this, that in a society, we come to speak truth to power.
And we've got to be able to live peacefully among ourselves. And to do that, the foundation is love, as what we said. And peace starts with me and with you and with the family. But again, tribalism, nepotism, all those netizens arise from, again, we got to deal with those things. And it could be prejudice, it could be misinformation, it could be disinformation, and that's going on around the United States today. Really, when you say something that is wrong so many times, people begin to believe that it's true. But it's not true, no matter how much you twist it. So we've got to be very conscious that we need to be intentional about getting the right source of information and speaking truth to power.
Thank you. So keep saying what you're saying, because you will touch people like me. There are people like me here. What you said was very powerful. You see that the number of African Americans or black people that come to the neighborhood will increase next time. We assure you that.
September 25th.
September 25th. There's a deadline. So that's the deadline. Let's make him proud. And if we make him proud, it means that this evening we have succeeded in having this wonderful function. And at this point in time, there is a gentleman.
And there's an issue that our Lord and Savior Jesus Christ spent 3 years of his life teaching his disciples how to carry on his church, how to carry on his mission. In order for Jesus to do that, he had to sacrifice. He had to sacrifice those 3 years of his life. He had to sacrifice with putting up with those men that he was teaching. And then ultimately, Jesus had to sacrifice his own life to show love for humanity. And I think everybody here would agree that sacrifice is the ultimate sign of love. And so if you would join with me and extend your hands over them as we bless the love of Jesus, the love of man, the love of humanity, and the fact that that comes through sacrifice, and that they are ultimate signs of picking up their cross and following our Lord. We bless them in the name of the Father, and of the Son, and of the Holy Spirit.
Amen.